Hey guys, I'm Melhorn. Come along with me on this fishing trip as I go chasing catfish with my favorite summertime bait, bluegill. So as a kid growing up catching catfish, we were always using frozen shrimp or night crawlers or frozen mussels, something like that. And even the old chicken livers, and we caught fish on them. But when I started really trying to catch bigger catfish and catch trophy catfish, everybody told me, hey, you need to be using cut bait, you need to be using live bait. And bluegill was the first one I started using. It was readily available in that I could catch them. And most of my fishing then was done, like a lot of people, in the warmer months, so they were easy to catch. And I've been using them ever since to catch catfish, especially in the summertime. Now that I've been at it for a while and into it, obviously I have other baits I fish with, net shad, and we catch white perch and just skipjack for other parts of the country. But still I have found that summertime, it just seems for whatever reason bluegill is an excellent bait to be using.
One of our bluegill from earlier. Now I don't scale them. Some people do. I don't. I scaled the perch. Seems like they got bigger, harder scales. I just take my knife, lay a side off each of them, depending on how big a baits I want to fish. You've heard me say before, I don't fish with that. Some people do. It's good if you do. That's fine. I just use it for chum. I don't use it. That flapping tail seems to be an issue with me, so I've got kind of a small hook on this one. So what I'm going to do is take a piece of that bluegill fillet, make it a little bit smaller. These are Santee rigs, so they're drift rigs. They'll sink on the bottom. I just got an old drift weight on that one I made for one of my videos a while back. In my opinion, in the summertime, one of the premier baits is that right there, and that's a bluegill head. I think it's the best bait around. I hook them up through the bottom of the lip, up through there, keeps their mouth shut so that they don't kind of get their mouth open and kind of fluttering out there in the water. Just seems to help. So you can tell it's on bottom when the line quits coming off. Boom, there it is. Like I said, I'm a big fan of bluegill in the summer. I think it's the best summer bait to have. Put a bigger one on that one. Put a whole fillet on that one. This little chunk. They just maybe I'm biased because they were always easy to catch before I learned how to throw a net. Caught a lot of fish on them, caught a lot of flatheads on them, caught a lot of big fish on them. I've got one of these smaller live ones. I'm gonna put him out whole. Hook them the same way. That way they're facing into the current and still get water across their gills. And he should sit up there, flop around, and be an excellent bait. I wish I had a rattle on that one. That's a good one to put a rattle on when you have a Santee style rig with a cork, rattling cork or something. That would have been a good one. Feel confident if there's a big blue or flathead, they'll hit it. But most likely it's going to get hit by a channel cat. That's just the way it usually goes with live baits here. Smaller bait, this one. Smaller hook. A Catfish Sumo that has been killing it on the drift. Get it in the water. Put that one up there on the bank. All right, I got another small one. Told you these small ones don't go to waste, guys. Put that sucker out there. Maybe we can get old big boy to hit. Big hungry boy. We'll see what happens. All right, got one that has taken a bait and went to some deep water. There he is. Boom, hooked up. Not a monster, but we'll take it. Coming at the boat now. Don't know what it is. The only odd thing is it swam off. Shaking like a blue. Boom, there goes another one. There's another one. See it right there? Straight under the boat. Tangled in the line. We always, this may be a big channel. No, it's blue. Good heavy blue. Come here, come here, come here. Simmer down. Big male. Well, that female. Good fish. Been bit on a few times.
Now, why are these baits so popular in the summertime? Well, I've got my theories. I think a lot of it has to do with the spawn and how bluegill spawn. They kind of come up shallow like bass, and are usually up in shallow pockets, coves, and places like that where they can fan out near the bank. I think that may have something to do with it. They pull up out of the deeper water. These fish are also very active this time of the year in the summertime, and part of it may be just because they're easy for us to catch, they're easy for us to use, and we catch fish on them. But there have been many times where I'm fishing the bait side by side with shad, perch, and I just get more hits on the bluegill. And you know, I don't know, I like them in the summer. A lot of people like them in the summer. They're a great bait to have when you get back and start flathead fishing after the spawn or before the spawn. It's hard for a flathead to turn down a bluegill.
All right, tell you what I'm gonna do. This line's all over the place. Let me get this out of the way. There's a fish on that one, but it's not big. There he goes. I'm gonna get this line out of the way and bring him in on this side. Just out of ease operation. There he is. The plan was not to go drifting today, or the plan was to go drifting, but I don't know. I rode up to an area I was going to drift. I said, what the heck? We had some rain. I seen some mud. I said maybe there's some current and I can go anchor. That's what I did. Not sure what we got here. A little bigger fish. Not a monster, but a little bit bigger. Good blue, good blue, good blue, Teener blue. Oh yeah, good fish. It's a good one, it's a good male. Yeah, good fish. Nice fish. Yep. Good one. Color, a few battle scars. He's still jacked up color with some good colorization. Got a feeling he's still spawning. He's still looking for love. Let's get him back and make love. All right, guys, the plan is here just to make a big long drift with the wind, trying to find me a area where I can get the wind at my back. I'm gonna put out a big drift sock because, well, it's gonna be howling. Get this thing situated. This is the big Easterland drift sock. It's basically a parachute. Got a weight on one side, got a float on the other. Float goes up, weight goes down. You got this small rope, which is a takedown rope, that ties to the back of it. That is what you use to pull it in with. So you got this one that ties to the drift sock itself. This one here goes to the back of it. It's kind of slack. And I've got a rope that goes between the cleats on the back and out the back, forms a little Y. Poof. She's out, she'll get inflated and she'll slow us down. Or my bluegill. It's already got a piece on it. Bang. That in there. Bang. That one over there. Piece hooked up there. What I'm gonna do is just put 6 rods out. No planers today. Wind can make planer board fishing kind of a pain in the butt, so I'm just gonna chillax and go without them. in there. You know what we need? That one bluegill died that we had out live. Yep, there it is. It's the one we had out live at the last stop. Pop that head off. Hook that head right through there. Yes, sir. That's a small head on a big hook, but it'll work. Knock these in gear, plenty of line out. Got one more over here, needs a piece of bait. We'll cut the tail off this piece of bluegill and put a little small chunk on there. This is a small hook on this one anyway. Put that through there. Always make sure you get that scale off that tip. Put it in there. Slack line, slack line, slack line. Boom, there it is. What I try to do, what I'm thinking is when I get one of those that's got a lot of slack in it, when that line starts to come tight, I try not to reel too fast so that if it's barely hooked, it doesn't pull the hook loose. This is not a big fish. Take him. The drift is not as good as I thought it was going to be. I would have a little more. Get him in the boat. Oh, he's whisker hooked. It's gonna be another quick release right there, guys. Watch this. Doink! Oh, I lost my brim head. I got my brim head back and then I lost it. Oh well, that's fishing. Missed it earlier. Santee style rigs. Some weights from Dale's Tackle, pencil weights. Catfish sumo rattle. This little green one has been working on these brim trips, bluegill trips. Not sure if it's the color or what, because it's bluegill. Maybe it helps. I don't know. Who knows? I just know I've been catching some on it. Small hook, little piece of bluegill.
Now you can fish them as cut bait. That's usually the way I do it. But I will put out some live ones. Usually I have a nice mix of them out there. But generally speaking, I get more hits and catch more fish on the cut bait. That's obviously because of the scent. You just get a lot more scent spread out. And you know, the fish are able to key in on that, and it's a little more enticing for them. When you get actively feeding fish, those live fish will work just fine. And you know, you pair that up with some type of rattle, suspend them underneath the bobber, and those live bluegill can be a very effective bait.
Doing what I never like doing, and that is dragging in river current. That fish there, did he pull off? Nope, he's there. Just trying something. Not feeling very optimistic about it, but I'm hooked up. Now there's a lot of current, and it's also got wind in the same direction, so boat speed's kind of tough to manage. Fishing is not exactly good either. This fish is swimming really weird. Swam way off to the side. Good blue. Good blue. Good blue. I think we're at the boga him. Oh, weight's gone. That's interesting. I wonder if the weight came out. Oh, that's interesting. Let's get this sucker. I wonder if I free line that fish. My weight came off somewhere along the way. Not sure where. It's a good looking fish. I can roll that hook out. There we go. Something in your mouth? Nope. Good looking blue. Nicest one of the day. Hey there, fella. Good fish. Good fish. Get that one back alive.
And one of the things I did today was I actually had out a white perch head. White perch heads are usually a good bait during certain times of the year. And I've caught a lot of big fish on white perch heads. The interesting thing is today I had that bait's not been hit. I've caught a couple of these fish that I've caught today on bluegill heads. You know, several of them on fillets, but nothing has touched that perch head. So is the bait too big? I don't know. All of these fish are big enough to eat it. Is it because they're just not keying in on those fish right now? I don't know. Who knows what it is, but it's one of the other reasons why perch can be easy to catch. And you can still catch fish on them, don't get me wrong. And you still catch catfish on shad and every other fish out there. It's just there seems to be a preference to using bluegill, especially when it warms up here in the summertime.
Man, got a fish. Just put this one back out. Checking some bait. Man, the wind's howling and it's changing directions on me. It's kind of northwest. Now it's kind of coming out of the west. I got all kinds of issues here with drift sock and everything. This is the one bad thing about trying to drift in the current. It can be tough. It can be tough, especially with a tailwind. But anyway, for now we're trying to catch fish. The brim is catching fish. It's just where these fish are is the tough part. They are not everywhere, especially the biting fish. Even the fish I'm marking on sonar are very odd areas. Leaders around this fin. I've gone. That one came on that sumo too. Come back here. Easy, come up here. Easy, open your mouth, open your mouth. Ah, dang. Got it. That hooked up. Another one on that rattle. I don't know how many we caught today on that thing. It's working. There we go. Nice little blue. Upper end of the eater size for me, but a good blue. You like brim, don't you? It said it like brim.
Now, just to be clear, when I say bluegill, I mean pretty much any of the sunfish. The red breast sunfish, the actual bluegill, the green sunfish, shell crackers, all of those fish, all of them fall into the sunfish family. And interestingly, so does the largemouth bass. All of these so-called bass that bass fishermen fish for are actually sunfish. So when I refer to them, I refer to bluegill as all of those, and that includes, we call them brim, is a kind of a slang term for all of those species combined. But some of them do better than others. There are some fish that they don't seem to want to hit as much. Shell cracker is one that I don't, for whatever reason, channel catfish and blues don't seem to eat it, but a flathead will. Warmouth's another one, doesn't get hit as much except by flatheads. But the actual bluegill, green sunfish, pumpkin seed, all of those, blues, flatheads, channels, they all love them.
Oh, might have found one. I had one go. I don't know if it stayed buttoned. Actually, that one there's getting bit. This one did not stay buttoned up. That's got a small fish on it right there in front of me. We'll go ahead and get this one in. Got the bait. Got the bait. Dang, got some slime on there. sure what was on that. I'm gonna go ahead and get this. This here looks like a channel cat. My money says channel cat. Walleye fish it in. He barely hooked, barely moved around. I actually picked off a couple of fish on this drift. I'm kind of surprised. I may reset and drag it again. There you see, I see it flipping. That popped off. I knew it would. I could tell that fish was going to pop off. I don't know, I think he had the back of the bait. It just felt like it was not hooked up good. You do this long enough, you can just tell. Boom, got one going here. Making one last pull across here. And it's a funky wind, funky current, all that kind of stuff. I'm trying to put one last fish in the boat, and I got hooked up. Small fish. Not exactly a phenomenal bite today. I think this is fish 7 or 8. I did do a little prospecting, so kind of wrote off some time there, but the brim's working. It always works in the summertime. It's my go-to bait. And the cool thing is they're easy to catch this time of year. And boop, that one's got a little more fighting than I thought. It's like a channel cat. Let's get him in the boat here, see which piece he hit. I don't know which piece that one hit. These are what I grew up catching on this lake. Blues were rare back then. Now, and this was back when 8, 9, 10 pound channel cats were the ones you wanted to catch for tournaments. Now, that's about as big as it gets. But they still like bluegill. After all these years, they probably killed more of my live flathead bait bluegill than any other fish. All right, guys, sitting here reeling in lines to head in, and wouldn't you know it, rod goes off. We'll get one more for the road. He stays but kind of having to zing my motor down through here kind of quick because I've almost drifted into the bank over here. So I got to get this one in before we're pushing it off the dirt, which ain't a good thing. Bluegill's done good today. It's not on fire. A little slow on the bite. I don't know, it's probably about average for this time of the year. I think I caught 8 fish. So not exactly crazy by any means, but considering we did some prospecting, it'll work. And there, boom. That one on that dadgum catfish sumo. Nice, nice, nice. Come here, blue cat. Another blue. Nice little eater size. Oh, you're lucky you're not getting the grease. Lucky. He'd have made a good sandwich. Well, folks, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing, and here are a couple of more videos that I think you're going to like.